right? With a little 10, 20, 30, something. Just bless me with something, man. Anybody was blessed when you were ready to purchase your first home, which we know is not easy to get, right? Did we get any blessing from there? Did your auntie show up and say, hey, you know what, I got you? Did grandma show up? Did your uncle show up? Did your parents show up and said, you know what, how much you need? How much you need? You need a little 10 grand? You need a little 5 grand? How much you need, right? You short a couple of G's? How much you need? Okay, so let me look at the chat and let's see, right? There's a lot of no's. A lot of no's. A lot of no's. But what if those no's were yes? Think about it. How would your life be different today? What if your parents had started saving for you from birth because they had this knowledge, and when you were ready to go off to college, whether you wanted to go to college or not, money was not an option? Because when I went to NYU, money was not an option, right? I knew I was going to go. I was going to make it however I got to make it. If I got to work 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs, but that was my mindset. But everybody else in my family, we all had the excuse. There's no money, so I'm not going. I'm not going because I don't want to deal with student loan, right? So what if the situation was a yes? There was money there from birth. There was money there for college, whether you wanted to go to college or not. There was money there to start that business, whether you wanted the business or not. There was money there for your first purchase, whether you wanted to be a homeowner or not. How would your life would have turned out? Think about it. Would we be better off? Do you think? Do you guys think we would be better off if we had those things already in place for us? Because somebody knew and put it in place. What do you guys think? Do you think we would have been better off? Yes? No? Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Guys, this is what this webinar is about. Not like, yes, our parents didn't do it for us because maybe they didn't know better. Times are different, right? But if you're on this Zoom today, we have no more excuse. The buck stops, right? And we're going to rewrite this narrative now, right? We're going to change it now because now we know better. We have the strategy, we have the access, and we can get these things done. So maybe your kids could have all the yeses, or maybe your grandkids could have all the yeses. And for some of us, we still could turn the no's into a yes, right? We still can turn the no's into a yes because now we have this information. So this is why we're here. We're here to change the dynamics. We're here to change the story. We're here to make life better for the next and for the coming generation. So a lot of you, I'm presuming everybody on this Zoom has kids, right? Everybody has kids on this Zoom?
Yes, yeah.
Awesome. So guess what? Your kids will be better off with this information that I'm about to share today. Absolutely. But if you take action. Now, it is Financial Literacy Awareness Month, right? And on the last day of the month, so we barely catched it, on the last day of the month, we're going to share this information with you. But this is life-changing information. So let me make sure you guys can see my screen. Everybody can see it? Thumbs up. Yes, 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 no. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. So, as Miss Tappan said, I'm the author of 4 books. The one that I want to focus on mainly tonight, which is fitting for this topic, is setting up your kids to be playground millionaires, right? So again, all of those no's we said earlier, now we can turn them into yes, right? With these strategies. So I'm going to show you, a lot of you, if you're saving money already for your kids, kudos to you. That's the first step. Saving money. But where are we saving that money, right? Where are we saving it, right? We're going to talk about where we're saving it, and we're going to talk about the pros and the cons, right? So I titled this slide From Piggy Bank to Playground Millionaires. A lot of us grew up saving money in a piggy bank, right? But guess what? That's good, but that ain't gonna set you up to be no millionaire, right? We're in 2025. So let's talk about some popular child college saving accounts that everybody under the sun is probably aware of, right? 90% of America is doing this. Money in the bank, money in the 529. So I'm gonna come off camera. How many of you, and you could put in the chat, how many of you are currently saving money right now in a 529 or the bank account? Put it in the chat. 529 or bank account? Or you doing both? 529 or account? 529 or bank account? Put in the chat. Doing both. Okay. T said both. Motorola said bank account. Okay, both, bank account, right? Okay, anyone else? Are we not saving money for these kids? What are we not doing? I only see a few of you said bank account. Okay, well, that's a start, right? We got to save somewhere. Okay, Daphne, I see you, but Daphne, you one of us, so you ain't getting a pass. You one of us, okay? You one of us, Daphne. Miss Cheryl said bank, okay. Right? So let's talk about those two really quick. With the bank account, what is the downside of saving money in the bank account? Are we going to be a millionaire with saving money in the bank account? What is the average interest that the banks are giving us? Nothing. Absolutely correct. Horrible, right? 0.0 something, right? You're lucky if you get 2 or 3%, right? So we know money in the bank is not going to set us up to be a millionaire, right? We got to use the bank. It is what it is, but it's not going to give us that compound growth because the interest is not there, right? But it's a start. We got to save somewhere. It's better than the piggy bank because at least now we're getting some interest. Now, a couple of you said both. Let's talk about the 529, right? What are some downside with the 529? Again, both good strategies. We're saving money. So you get a grade for that, right? You get a grade for that. You're saving money, check mark, right? Check mark for saving. But now let's talk about the type of saving. So with a 529, what are some of the downside with a 529? Can anybody tell us? What is the downside? I didn't see a lot of people had 529. So yes, Daphne said can only be used for college. Absolutely, right? Can only be used for college. It's restricted to college. Great, right? So what if maybe you said, you know what? You live in New York. Your kid's going to go to college. And then these kids decide, Mom, please, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to waste my money. Nobody's going to college these days. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start a business. Guys, at my university today, I had my students do an assignment and they had to present it. And almost 90% of the class, these kids got skills, right? They got marketing skills. They got social media skills. They got tech skills. Like, I'm like, listen, y'all not gonna be really out of a job because you got a lot of side hustle skills right now, right? I was told it could be rolled over to Roth IRA for the child if they don't use it for college. So we're gonna talk about that, yes? Okay, so if they don't go to college, that's the first problem, right? They don't go to college. That's the first problem. Let's say they do want to go to college. That's going to be another problem. How is that another problem if they do go to college? 529 is subject to the ebbs and flow of the stock market. Thank you, Mickey, for saying that, right? So I want you guys to write it down. Yes, we're all saving, but the goal of being on this Zoom tonight is to save like the millionaires. It's to save like the 1%. It's to do what the 1% are doing, right? So we could win the money game. We're learning how money works so we can leverage our money and get more bang for your buck. So we know with the bank, the interest is not there. With the 529, you have some restrictions. Let's talk about the restriction. The first restriction is you better go to college. Because if you ain't go to college, now I got to pay 10% penalty, right? Because now if I'm not using the money for college, the government is going to penalize me. 10% penalty. And now when I take this money out to go spend it on whatever else besides college, now we got to pay tax on the money, right? So that's the first problem, taxes and penalty. The second problem with the 529 is this money is in the stock market. Guys, have you taken a look at your accounts recently? Your IRAs, your 401k, your 403b, right? We've all lost money. This is why people don't even want to log into their account. They are scared to see how much they've lost. Even families that are in retirement right now have lost money. So if you have money in the 529, that money is directly invested in the stock market, which is going to go with the highs and lows. Now, we would love when it goes up, but what if it goes down the year your kids are ready to go to college? What if your kids were scheduled to go to college in 2008? 2001, 2020, or whatever future years it's going to be. Do we know what the stock market is going to do in the year 2040 or 2050 or 2060? We don't even know what the stock market is going to do next week, right? So you are gambling with your money. You are gambling with your money. We would love to know that it's going to grow and stay growing, but we also have to pay attention that with the market fluctuations, you're going to lose money, and we don't want to lose money the year your child is scheduled to go off to college. So that's another problem, right? That's another problem. The highs and lows of the stock market. So another problem, oh, you guys are smart tonight. Y'all are making this easy for me. Tanya Noel said, 529 plan is a parental asset, can reduce the eligibility for financial aid. Absolutely. Guys, you have to disclose your 529 on the financial aid form. It's right there. There's the box right there with the word 529. You have to disclose it. So if you come with a lot of money in your 529, guess who's not getting financial aid? Guess who's not getting any free money? Guess, you are. So we're leaving money on the table. We are leaving money on the table, right? We're leaving money on the table. You woulda, shoulda, coulda had more, but because you had to disclose your asset, now they're going to recalculate and be like, wait a minute, we're not giving you no free money. Guys, every school has free money. Every school has free money, especially the higher education universities. They got big donors. NYU has big donors. St. John University has big donors, right? There's a lot of money out there, right? So you showing them your little 40, 50, 60 grand, well, guess what? You ain't going to get no money now because you showing us you got money. So why would we give you money, right? So guys, do you see some implications? Yes, we're saving, and that is very good that we're saving, but we want to teach you guys how to save smart, right? So you just literally disqualify yourself from getting any free money. You got to hope and pray your child goes to college, because if he doesn't go to college, now you get hit with this 10% penalty and taxes. And let's talk about if they decide to go out of state. Because some of them, if you read the fine print, some of them will tell you if you move out of state, let's say you live in New York and then 15 years later you decide you want to move to Georgia. Well, some 529 may or may not be rolled over. So now you can use that money in the state of Georgia. And again, you got to read the fine print of your 529 paperwork, right? So now if you move in the state of Georgia and you didn't know this, and then you present this to the school, they're going to be like, wait a minute, we can't take this. So now you got to liquidate the funds, right? Because it doesn't carry over. You got to liquidate the funds, pay the 10%, pay the penalty. Guys, we want to save money smart. We want to save money with zero restriction. Whether you want to be in the US, whether you want to go to school in Dubai, right? Whether we change our mind and we no longer want to go to school, right? Get what I'm saying, guys? Right? So you have all of these limitations that are going on with these accounts. But again, I applaud you for saving. That's the first step, right? So, college is an important event in your child's life, but it is not the only one. And this is why I open up tonight's webinar with all of those questions. Because you see, a lot of us are only thinking about college like my parents did. Well, they weren't even thinking about it because we're immigrants, right? We just came here and we figured it out, right? But most of us will think only for college. Very few of us will think beyond college because our mindset is, you know what? I did my part. You got a good education. I give you free shelter. Now you on your own. Goodbye. Go figure it out. Guys, my parents are not wealthy and they never pushed me to move out the house. I was making money. I was going to school. I had a job and they never said, oh, Dada, come on, you can afford to go on your own now. Don't you want to go on your own? Don't you want your freedom? No, they didn't push me to go out, right? So because of that, I was able to save more money because I ain't got to pay rent. I ain't got to do all these extra things, right? So I want you guys to start thinking it's not only about college that we want to help these kids for, right? We want to do beyond college. And you guys that are on this Zoom tonight, I know you're amazing parents because you took the time to show up to get this knowledge, see what you can do to help your kids. So I know I'm not talking to the wrong crowd. I'm talking to the right crowd who cares and love for their kids and want to set their kids up for college, but I'm going to show you this beyond college. So what about when your child's ready to buy their first car? Right? For the records, I have no kids, right? So most people would say, well, Dada, you talking all this and you even got no kids. But I got a lot of Playground Millionaire nieces and nephews. I got a whole lot of Playground Millionaire nieces and nephews, clients and blood nephews and nieces, right? So when Corey was ready to buy his first car, guess what? We funded it for him because he's a good student. He's been getting good grades. He doesn't get into trouble. And we supported him with his first car, right? Also had good saving habits. So, hey, he put his part, we put the other part, right? What about when he's ready to get married? Well, guess what? We have things in place to bless them, not with everything, but hey, you put some and we're going to chip in the difference, right? We're going to chip in the difference, right? We want to make them responsible. So yeah, the buck is not all going to be 100% on us. We want to make them responsible. They got to do their part and we're going to chip in the difference. What about when your kids get married, right? Who wouldn't want to help their kids, right? That's a major milestone, right? Or what about when they're ready to buy their first house, right? When Corey's talking about getting a condo, we already know he's going to put his part and we're already going to chip in the other part, right? These are things that I do for my own family and I instill because I know this information and I teach this to families, right? So all of my nieces and nephews, these are major milestones that when they're ready for these big ticket item purchases, well, guess what? They have to work, they have to do their part, but we're going to bless them with, the difference. So when they're ready to buy their first home, they know They got their 60, 70, 80%, and we'll chip in with a balanced 20%. That right there is a blessing because I never had that. I never had that. When I was ready to go to school, I love my parents, and they hear me say this all the time, but they never even give me like money for books, money for one tuition, right? I worked my way through college. I worked my way through university. Same thing with my first purchase house. Not even $1, right? I mean, they helped me with the move-in, but again, they're my parents, I love them. It's not that they did it intentional, they just didn't have it, right? So now we're changing that with the next generation, right? Wouldn't you want to help your kids with their first house, right? Of course. And what about when your kids become parents? Everybody loves their grandkids. You may not get along with your kids. They may like be on your nerves sometimes, but the minute those grandkids come around, it's a whole new love all over again, right? There's a studies that says on average, this was 2020, there was a study, an article that says on average, grandparents spend $2,500 a year on their grandkids, right? $2,500 a year on their grandkids. Well, guess what? Every grandparent would love to do stuff for their grandkids, right? Again, they may not get along with their kids, but they love their grandkids, right? My mom will do anything for all of her grandkids, right? She may not do it for her sons and daughter, but the little ones, she want to do more for them, right? So what about when your kids become parents and now you're the grandma, you're the grandpa, right? Wouldn't you want to bless them with some extra stuff? Of course you would, right? And then what about when they're ready to start a business? In this economy, in this environment, everybody needs to have a business. Everybody, listen, I don't care if you're selling weave, if you're selling lip gloss, if you're selling some plantain chip, if you're selling some tires. Everybody needs to start a business, own a business, have a business. Because we know these jobs are not loyal. They were never loyal, and we keep seeing it more and more recently this year, right? So what about when they're ready to start a business, right? Maybe your kids, maybe your grandkids, these are all things that you could help them with. Most family, like I said, we only plan for education. But there's so many other exciting moments like I just shared. And when those times come, you know what we end up using? We use our savings or we use our retirement funds. So now we're dipping into the bucket and shortening our own retirement accounts, which that's a whole nother webinar, because retirements, we don't even have enough for retirement. So that's another webinar. But we're focusing on the kids today. So when these other milestones come up, we find ourselves taking out of equity out of the house. We find ourselves dipping it into our 401k. We find ourselves taking money from other things that we had set up for ourselves because we did not put anything for them. But what if we have the solution to secure all those milestones that I just talked about? Because we can all agree, if somebody had done it for you, without a shadow of a doubt, all of our lives would have been better. All of our lives would have been better knowing that, hey, there was money there to go to college. They don't want to go to college? No big deal. What do you want to do? You want to start a business? Great. The money's there to start a business. You ready to buy your first house? Great. Here's some money for a down payment. You ready to get married? Great. I'm going to give you your honeymoon, right? Or I'm going to pay for the wedding reception, or I'm going to chip it. Like, we would be so much stress-free financially. This is what you get to do for your kids and grandkids. So, one plan, right? Put in the chat, one plan takes care of all the phases of your life. Just one plan. One plan I'm going to show you here tonight that takes care of all the phases. There are no tax restriction. There's no college restrictions. There's no stock market going up and down. So you don't know how much you're going to have when you're ready to go to college. You don't know how much you're going to have when you're ready to get married. You don't know how much you're going to have. Like, No, we're not doing with this uncertainty. One plan takes care of all the phases of your life, right? So stage one with this plan is we got to put money in. We got to contribute. The earlier you start, the better. This is why I said from birth. Now, I know some of us, our kids are 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, older, but it's never too late. But obviously, the earlier you start is better. The stage one is a contribution phase. You're funding the plan. You're saving money. You're already saving the money. You're saving the money in the 529. You're saving the money in the bank account. So we're going to continue saving the money, right? But now that money is compounding. Stage two, why? That money can be used for anything. There's no restriction. They could go to college. They could start a job. They could do whatever they want to do. Stage three, big ticket items, big purchases, a car, a house, a vacation, right? Stage four, nobody's even planning about this, right? They're not even thinking about it. Retirement? You mean, oh, Dad, wait, my little child, I'm already saving for retirement? Why not? Why not? Guys, you see why we got to undo how we're thinking? Because we were taught all these years, just save for college and goodbye, you on your own. The wealthy people don't do that. The 1%, they plan on their entire generation, right? So yes, stage four, retirement and legacy, right? Retirement and legacy. Because guess what? Again, ask yourself the question, what if all of this was mapped out for you? What if all of this was mapped out for you? How much more stress-free and easy would your life be? Knowing that all of this was mapped out for you. And by the way, if you ended up being successful, it's your parents' money. They didn't have to give it to you. So I always give myself as an example. If my parents had done this one plan for me, today, that would have been their retirement money because I did okay for myself. So all this stuff they saved for me, yes, they could have helped me with college. Yes, they could have helped me to start a business. Yes, they could have helped me to get a house. But once I get myself going, the retirement phase, that could have been their money. But instead, I'm their retirement. So what if somebody had done this for you? How much more stress-free would your life be? Would you have to go to that job that you hate? No, you would have choices, right? So little money grows to big money over time. And here is one of my Playground Millionaire nephew. So this is Myra's Arco. She's our tax strategist in this business, right? And she's amazing, like amazing, amazing, amazing. She posts this on her Instagram and said, Myra, I'm going to so use this into my presentation. She's like, that'll knock yourself out. This Playground Millionaire is being monetized, okay? He's being paid, right? And he is stacking his coins all the way up. His future is so bright. Look at that smile on his face. And she wrote, thanks to mom and dad, Boss Baby is a Playground Millionaire. Myra is saving about $200 a month in this plan for her son, his future. And she's a tax strategist and she's in this business and she's teaching this to families. So how do you think his future is going to look? Because we know this information now and we're doing this for our own, right? Amazing. So I want to show you what this looks like when you're saving in an account we call a $1 million baby strategy. Somebody's saving $200. Now, if you were putting that $200 in the bank, it's $200. If you put $200 in the bank, it is just $200. But when you put $200 in this account, by default, instantly, your net worth increases. So you see little baby right there? His net worth is $250,000. That little baby that I just showed you, his net worth is $250,000. Okay, that's a baby. He has a higher net worth more than adults, right? His net worth is $250,000, a baby that could barely, well, he's walking now, right? So when you put, let's say, $200 in this account from day one, you have a net worth much higher than $200, right? So as you can see here, we start with $200 a month, saving in this plan, $2,400 a year. We do this for, let's say, the first 2 years. Here's another misconception. A lot of people, they want to stay at the same number. They want to start, let's say, at 200 and do 200 forever. No. Cost of living is going up, isn't it? Yeah. So if cost of living is going up, you got to make more money and you got to save more money. You got to make more money and you got to save more money, because nothing is going to get cheaper in the future. On the contrary, it's going to increase, right? So we start off with $200 a month, $2,400 a year. We do that for the first 2 years, and then we bump it up on year 3, right? We'd say it's $3,600, year 3, year 4, and we continue to increase until $4,800 a year from age 5, right? So if you look at age 17, right? This baby has a 6-figure net worth. How many 17-year-old walking around has a 6-figure net worth? Right? 10% of the population. I was on a Zoom today. 10% of the population are making $167,000. That is 10%. That is 90% of the population is making $167,000. And at 17-year-old with a plan like this, saving $200 a month and increasing at 17 years old, 6-figure net worth, $103,000. If you notice, the $4,800 is still the same. So we continue saving $4,800 a year. And now at 48 years old, this is a tax-free millionaire. Tax-free millionaire. Guys, a tax-free millionaire versus a regular millionaire, don't get mixed up. It's different in numbers. A tax-free millionaire has exactly $1,039,000. That's why we call it Playground Millionaire. A Playground Millionaire is a tax-free millionaire. A Playground Millionaire is a risk-free millionaire. Doesn't matter what the stock market does, I'm still a millionaire. It doesn't matter what the economy does, I'm still a millionaire. It doesn't matter what Uncle Sam does with the taxes, I'm still a millionaire, because a Playground Millionaire is someone that is a tax-free millionaire and a risk-free millionaire. Now, if you have $1 million in the IRA, in your 529, in a 401k, in a 403b, in a Roth, is it still $1 million? Well, a Roth will be $1 million because it's tax-free. But all those other accounts that I mentioned, if you have $1 million in those accounts, do you have $1 million? What do you guys think? Put it in the chat. Yes or no? You got $1 million in your 401k, $1 million in your 403b, $1 million in your IRA, $1 million in your 529. Is it $1 million? Do you actually have $1 million? Do you? No, you don't. Right? No, you don't. Because that million has to be taxed because of where it is saving, because where it is sitting. So what we do is we educate the public to save smart, because everybody is saving, and people tell me all the time, well, that I'm good, or that I'm saving, or that I'm good. But okay, come. I'm going to teach you how to make your money work for you. I'm going to teach you how to leverage your money. I'm going to teach you how to get more bang for your buck. I'm going to teach you how to not worry what the market does and not to worry what Donald Trump says with the tariffs, right? Because a playground millionaire is a tax-free millionaire and a risk-free millionaire. Right? Because I have clients that tell me, well, Ladetta, where were you? Where were you 5 years ago when I had 300,000? Like one time I went to visit a client who's a restaurant owner. I drove all the way to Connecticut and I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I'm going to be able to help this family. I'm going to be able to help their workers. You know what he said to me? Odetta, where were you when I was making $100,000 a month? Odetta, where were you when I was making money? Where were you when I had $1 million? Tax-free millionaire is a different number, right? So at 48 years old, you have $1,000,039 tax-free and risk-free. And if you look at age 50, right, how much did we really put in? We put in less than $250,000. At age 50, we have $232,000 total. So we put in less than $250,000 and it grew to over $1 million. You will never get this with the bank. You will never get this with the bank. Because number one, the bank is not giving you $250,000 on day one. Pick up what I'm putting down, right? So if you notice, the premium outlay is how much we're funding the account with, $4,800 a year. We haven't increased it after that, right? We started out with $2,400 the first 2 years. Another 2 years we did $3,600, and then from there on we did $4,800 for the entire time. So I know what you're thinking, Odetta, do I have to do this all the time for my kids? Absolutely not. You're setting this up for them. But sometime or someday, they're going to get a job. And the job is going to give them a 401k. A job is going to give them a 403b. A job is going to present them with a 457. A job is going to present them with an IRA. But because you've already instilled saving this way for them, they can still do those things. But they're going to continue funding over here because they would have seen directly the impact how this money has blessed them with college, with buying a house, wedding, and everything else. You sleep good at night when you have this account, right? You can't say the same about a 529, right? You cannot say the same. And if we continue, right, here's another client, here's the same client. Again, we're planning their entire future, all the way to the legacy. So now this child had money for every milestone and still retirement. Because at age 71, he can take out $242,000 tax-free for retirement. Think about that. Just this one plan. Just this one plan. Just this one plan. We know they're going to have multiple plans because we know they're going to get a job. We know they're going to do real estate. They're going to do Bitcoins. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They're going to do all these other things, which is okay because we want to diversify. But with this one, we can sleep good at night because this one is tax-free and this one is risk-free. All those other things are not tax-free and risk-free except a Roth. Right? Except a Roth. A Roth is tax-free, but you're still going to lose money. You're still going to lose money when the market goes down with your Roth, right? So now we have $242,000 tax-free in retirement. And again, for parents, you might be doing this for your kids to give them that head start. But guess what? I always give myself as an example. What if your kids turn out to do really well for themselves and they don't need a lot of help financially? Guess whose money is this? Guess whose money is this? You save this for your kids, but guess whose money is this? You're the owner. You're the one that set up the account. You're the one that was saving. You're the one that has access. You're the one that's in control. Guess whose money it is? It's your money. It's always been your money. You dictate how much you want to give them, when you want to give them, or if you don't want to give them. So even though you might be saving this money for them, this money could end up being for you. in your retirement or for whatever you need it for, right? So guys, at age 71, the cash value is 3.7 million. Who did this to us? Who did this to us? Who fooled us? Who did this to 90% of the country? The 10%. That's why they own the wealth, right? We don't know what we don't know. And what we don't know is costing us and our generation. And this is why, as Vita said, I'm super passionate about going to every school and teach this information. And now at age 70, because people are living longer. And you know what the challenge is with that? We living longer, but our money's not long. The challenge with us living longer is that we're living longer, but the quality of living and the money is not there to supplement the long life. So at age 100, look at the legacy when we pass. So we took all this money out for all the different milestones, and we still gonna leave a legacy for the next generation. So let's look at the summary. The parents put in $325,000 in total. That is how much they contributed. How much we took out? Tax-free income, 7.2 million. And then we still leave behind 326. So that was the sixth question I didn't ask. How many of us, when our parents or grandparents die, left you and I anything? Think about it. How many of us, when our parents or grandparents or great-grandparents die, left us anything? We got to change that, my people. We got to change it, right? And I'm talking to people though who want to change it, right? I have some clients who tell me, Dada, this sounds good, but they got to figure it out. They on their own. Okay, goodbye. You're not my client then, right? You're not my client then, right? I want to help the people who this matters to them, right? Legacy money, legacy money, legacy money. I tell my nieces and nephews all the time, when I'm dead and gone, they still gonna have a wall in their house or a picture in their wallet with my picture. Legacy money, right? It's a big deal. Legacy money. Total value 7.6. This is what you call saving smart. This is what you call putting your money to work for you. This is what you call being stress-free, not worrying about the stock market crashing, not worrying about having to hide the money when you file in for financial aid, because the government don't see this. The government don't see this. You don't have to disclose this on your financial aid application form, right? And let's say these kids, they incur some student loan. That's okay. Because guess what? There's good debt and there's bad debt. So if the student loan is charging 3%, that's okay. Because guess what? This account on average earned 10 to 12%. So I'm okay with Corey, Kyra, and the rest of them maybe taking a student loan at 3% interest and let their account keep growing here at 10%. So when they graduate from school 6 months later, we come in here, we pull out how much needs to pay off the student loan. They start life stress-free and not having to take any dead-end job because they got to pay back the student loan. It's a big deal, right? Now, here's another sample account with some of my higher net worth clients that says, Odetta, my kids got to go to medical school. My kids got to go to got to become a lawyer. So I'm going to save more than $250. I'm going to do $500 a month. Because they know what they know. And they know their kids got to, go to certain things to become whoever they need to become. And they're making the money because they're high net worth. So now they're starting off with $500 a month in this plan. So that's $6,000 a year. They do that for 2 years, and then they bump it up to $1,000 a month. Now you might be saying, well, Adetta, who's doing $1,000 a month? And if you're saying that, maybe you want to talk to us about doing this opportunity, because we're looking for people like ourselves who can teach this to our community and make good side income, educating families and teaching families how to save their money smart, how to make your money work for you, right? So now this child, again, day one, right? Because again, we know what we know. We're saving from birth, right? We're not waiting until they're 7, 8, 9, 10 and scrambling. No, we start from day one, birth, right? So now, oh my God, at 8 years old, this child has a 6-figure net worth at 8 years old. 8 years old. We start off with $500. 2 years later, we double it to $1,000. And the reason why parents are okay doing this, because guess whose money it is? Guess whose money it is after all? So I'm okay with doing this, because at the end of the day, it's my money. It's my money. I might be saving it for little Johnny, but at the end of the day, make no mistake, it's my money. I'm in control. I make the decisions. I decide if I want to give them or not. It's my money, right? It's your money, right? So now at 8 years old, your child has a net worth of $111,000. And then at 22-year-old, because some people say, well, Adetta, I don't want to keep funding this forever. And that's good, right? So if you don't want to keep funding it until age 55 or whatever age, we can design it. And this is why you guys are going to want to get in touch with the person who invited you or myself. You'll have my contact information towards the end, where we could design a plan based on how much you want to save and what are your goals, right? Because again, we're dealing with finance. So this particular client says, you know what, that I'm going to start putting more money up front, because at 22, I'm not putting no more money. I'm stopping, right? Just like your mortgage. You could pay a small amount for the whole 30 years, or you could put a big amount for only 15 years. Let me say that again. You can pay whatever the bank tells you for the whole 30 years, or you can say, you know what? I know how money works. I understand compound interest, and I'm not going to pay this mortgage for 30 years. I'm going to send them one extra payment every year and double this down from 30 to 15. And I'm going to send them extra money. I'm going to put more so that I could be out sooner rather than 30 years later. So this family said, you know what, that I'm going to start with 500, then I'm going to bump it up to 1,000, because at 22, I'm done, right? I'm making money right now. Life is good. I'm going to put as much as I can. Guys, and here's another thing we also got to start thinking about. A lot of us, when we're making more money, we're spending more money. We got to undo that. When we make more money, we should be saving and putting away more money. Because we know the Bible talks about there's going to be droughts, there's going to be famine, and there's going to be feasts. So when you make more money, save more money. Not go spend more, right? So at 22, we stop putting money. Oh my God. Look at the cash value at age 22. Over $500,000. We didn't even put in that, right? And now they can take money out from age 23, right? They can take $12,000 out and pay off the student loan. Pay off the student loan. Pay off the student loan. And now let's say they're ready to buy their first house, and they come back again, because this one plan is doing everything. It's one plan. Age 33, they're ready to buy their house. Mom, I want to buy my house. Can you help me with something? Sure. Let's log into your Playground Millionaire account. How much you need, son? The conversation is going to be different, people. The conversation is going to be, how much you need, son? How much you need, my daughter? How much you need? That's what we want to be our kids, how much you need? Not, I ain't got it, go figure it out, go rob. My mom used to tell us, go rob a bank. She would tell my brothers, go rob a bank. I ain't got it, right? I mean, of course, she didn't mean it, but that was like her thing. I ain't got it. That was her way of saying, I ain't got it. Like, leave me alone. I ain't got it, right? Now, our conversation with my nieces and nephew, how much you need, Corey? How much you need, Kyra? How much you need, Zay? How much you need? How much you got and how much you need? Because we're teaching them you got to work, you got to save. You bring your 2 cents, I'll put my 2 cents. How much you got, how much you need. Different conversation, not what my mom used to tell us, go rob a bank, right? 33 years old, they're able to take out $75,000 down payment of a house because maybe that's what they need, right? And if you notice from age 34, you see all these zeros? We stop funding. So I had a client ask me today, Odetta, am I going to have to keep funding this till they're like 55? No way. No way. You fund it up to when you want to fund it. And then because we educate them on saving money, they take it over. Because guess what? They're going to get a job eventually. They're going to work somewhere eventually. And they're going to take it over. They need to save money. They're going to have their own family. You're not going to be funding this forever unless you want to fund it forever. Because again, whose money is this? Whose money is this? It is your money, Mom. It is your money, Dad. Right? So guys, I want you to look at the numbers. Playground Millionaire is about setting your kids up to be millionaires. Tax-free and risk-free. Because with all what we're doing, these kids are bound to be millionaires. Tax-free and risk-free. So I remember many, many years ago, I would never even thought of owning anything with the word million in it. Now today I use the word million like every day. Some people will work their entire life and never have anything attached to their name with the word million. Unless they probably own a house. And if it's in New York, yes. Houses in New York are expensive, so your house is going to be worth $1 million, right? But besides that, very few people would even know what to do to even set themselves up to be a millionaire. And if they do, and they're going with the traditional stuff that we all know, well, $1 million in your 401k is not $1 million. Because you're going to pay tax on that money, and you're going to lose money in the stock market. So how much you got in the end? We don't know. All right? So let's continue. At age 70, holy moly, you got over $7 million. But wait a minute, how much did we put in? We only put in $360,000. We put in $360,000 over those 22 years period. And at age 69, we have $7.9 million tax-free. You will never, ever, ever, ever see this with a bank. And at age 70, look at the retirement income that we can draw from this one account that did everything for your kids. And if your kids turn out to be...
And you took some money out, right? I see that you took some money out from age 23 going...
Yeah, let's go back
right?
so you guys could see. Oops.
You were taking some $12,000 a year to pay loans?
Yeah, I'm just looking for that. Yeah, I'm looking for that slide so you can see. Yep, we did. $12,000 a year. Oops, let me go back. Oh, why am I not seeing it? Okay, it's a different slide. Okay, right here. Yeah, from age 23 to age 30, we took $12,000 out every year to help pay off for college.
So that's another $120,000 you took out, plus the $75,000 for the house down payment. You already took half of what you put at the beginning out, and you still have $7 million at age 70. That's crazy.
Thank you for catching that. Yes. Can you imagine? Yeah. You took it out for two major purchases, right? Pay off education, down payment of a house, which most people, if we're doing the traditional route, 520 in the bank, there's no money to pay off these things. No, the interest is not there. And then the stock market in the 529, although you could have the high interest with the stock market, well, we don't know. We don't know how much we're going to have when these time come to take money out. That's the big question. That's the big unknown. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what the stock market's going to do. Your 401k or your 529 may show you got $500,000, $250,000, but do you really have that? We don't know, right? So that was a good point. Thanks for saying that. And yes, here's the summary recap, right? The student loan, we took out $120,000. Deposit for the home, we took out an extra $75,000. And then we got a tax-free income of, oh my God. Guys, don't you think every family in America needs to know this and not just the 1%? And guess what? Again, this account has a legacy component. So when I tell you this one account is mapping out your entire kid's life and your grandkids that are not even born yet, because at age 100, when we pass, because we're living longer, we leave behind 1.3. The kids are already good. Their kids are also going to be good. So now this is the great-grandkids. This is the great-grandkids' money. Because the kids are, if the kids are being the benefactor of all of this throughout their lifetime, don't you think they're going to do the same thing when they give birth? Of course. They're going to do the exact same thing when they give birth because they know this account blessed them. So they're going to do it for their kids by default. So this 1.3 is probably going to go to the great-grandkids. To God be the glory. We're leaving a legacy to the next generation. Legacy money, right? Total value, $15 million. But how much did you put in? You will never get this with a 529. You will never get this with the bank. You will never get this with your 401k, your IRA. So I know we're talking about kids, but these accounts can also be for yourself, your adult, because I own 3 of these accounts. Can somebody mute? Oh my God, let me mute it. Okay, let's see who is not muted. Okay, Anise, I'm muting you because we can hear you. All right, so in closing, right? It's not just about saving money, people. I hear it every day, oh, that I'm saving, oh, that I'm good, oh, that I'm saving, oh, that I'm good. No, we're leveling up. It's about saving smart, right? I have clients that are putting thousands of dollars in susu. What are you getting with the susu? You give the person $1,000. That's what you got, $1,000. You didn't even leverage your $1,000. You didn't even get any interest on your $1,000. The only good thing with the susu is we have the discipline to save money. Well, we got to learn how money works. Because when you learn how money works, you're going to make that $1,000 look like $1 million. That $1,000 could buy you wealth of $1 million. That $1,000 could turn into $1 million. That $1,000 could turn into $500,000 net worth. We are buying wealth, right? So it's not just about saving money. It's about saving money smart. It's about saving money tax-free. It's about saving money risk-free. And when you're saving money tax-free and risk-free, you're controlling your future. You're controlling your future because you know that whatever happens in the future, your money's right there. It's tax-free, it's risk-free. You ain't losing no money. You ain't paying nothing extra because Donald Trump say he fighting with this person and now they want to charge us tax and increase tax, and we're not doing all of that. And most importantly, you understand how to leverage your money. This is another concept that we're not aware of. Leveraging your money. What does leveraging your money mean? You give me $100, that $100 now becomes $250,000. You give me $100, but that $100 now becomes $250,000. Your $100 now is worth more than $100. But if you put that $100 in the bank, that's what you got, $100. But when you put your money in these accounts, your $100 becomes $250,000 or $500,000 or whatever it is. You leverage your money, you're getting more bang for your buck, right? And we don't only want to save for college, but we want to save for a lifetime. We want to set these kids up for a lifetime and not just for college time, right? So that concludes my slides and presentation. Now the challenge is, not everybody's going to get this account. I'm going to be honest with you. Not everybody's going to get this account. Not everybody's going to qualify. Not everybody's going to qualify. I got a client only yesterday got declined. This is not like a bank account where you're going to put your phone number, your social, your date of birth, your address, and boom, you get it. No, you got to qualify for this account. So if you were saying, oh, that doesn't sound good, but there's a catch. Yeah, the catch is you got to qualify for it. But how much would you want to start saving for your child and for yourself? Because yes, you're saving for your child, but it's also going to be by default for yourself because you own the account. You're the adult. Right? So the person who invited you tonight, you want to connect with them, right? Or you can send me a message. My phone number is on the Zoom, the slide, 973-842-7927. You can schedule a free consultation one-on-one so we could see your specifics, your goals, what you want to do for your kids. And then, of course, my website, odettaking.com/health and wealth. We do webinars every single night, but I particularly teach a class on Thursdays, every Thursday at 7:30. So if you want to learn more, right, you can absolutely click on the link. Miss Tappan, if you could type it in the chat, odettaking.com/health and the N sign and wealth, and you guys can register to attend any of our upcoming workshops. Like I said, we do stuff every single day, but I particularly teach one on Thursdays. And then this coming Saturday at my office, 2174 Nostrand Avenue at 3:30 p.m. We're going to have another in-person seminar right here at my office, 2174 Nostrand Avenue. That is at Flatbush Junction, right by the Target Mall. So again, you guys are free to come out to the seminar on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. if you want to learn more, or you can schedule a free consultation. We could jump on a Zoom 101 and we could see how we can best help you with setting yourself up and your kids to be Playground Millionaire, which is a tax-free millionaire and a risk-free millionaire. And it all depends on your goal. Some people may not care about being a millionaire. That's okay, right? Some people may just want to save money for college. But guess what? With this account, you're going to get more than just college. And that is my time. And I think I went over as always. Let me stop sharing. So I'm going to quickly go through the chat and see if there's any questions or if anyone wants to moderate the question. So how do we get access today? So Motorola says, how do we get... okay, let me type this. odettaking.com. Okay, yeah. How do we get access to this? Well, like I said, it's an application process. So Motorola, who invited you, you can schedule a free consultation. Reach out to the person that invited you, or you can send me a text. I'm gonna put. Hold on. I'm gonna put my odettaking.com/health and wealth, and my phone number 973-842-7927. Okay, So I put my contact info in the chat. How can we get hold of it? Like I said, it's an application process. So we'll meet with you guys either on Zoom, or you can come to the office, 2174 Nostrand Avenue. We could have a free consultation, see what's going on. Because guys, understand that just like taxes, two people could be making $50,000 and one may have to pay back and one don't have to pay back or as much, right? So when it comes to your finances, it's really dependent on an individual case by case. I don't know how much money you have. I don't know how much money you're working for. I don't know how many kids you have. I don't know where you're saving, how much you're saving. So I would say schedule a free consultation, and then we can, especially if you have kids, this is something I'm telling you right now. If you are saving money in a 529 and you're saving money in the bank, I need you to stop it and get in touch with us ASAP. I told my cousin this, who was a director for Kings County Hospital 8 years ago. She was saving about $200 at a time for Aiden. And she was like, Dad, I got a 529. You know, Aiden has a bank account. And that was her first kid and her only kid. She never got any other kid. You know how much is Aiden net worth? Okay? Right? My little cousin, Aiden, his net worth is more than adult's net worth, right? And this is my cousin. She does well for herself. It's her only child, and she was saving in a 529. But guess what? Little Aiden is nowhere ready for college. And if he decides he doesn't want to go to college and he wants to start a business, or he wants to go to college and he wants to move out of New York, we're not going to have this conversation with him, okay? Because everything is already put in motion, right? So please, please, please schedule a one-on-one. Either contact the person who invited you to this webinar, or this program is sponsored. Thank you so much to Academy Charter School. Just make sure that when you do reach out to us, you mention Academy Charter School, because we do a lot of these seminars for churches and different schools. So we want to track where you guys are coming from. So please, I'm going to also put in the chat, Academy Charter School. So yeah, when you schedule the appointment or you reach out to us or whoever invited you, just make sure you reference Academy Charter School so we'll know it was this, you're coming from this webinar. Any other question? Can we start the Q&A? Yes. Okay, any other questions? Weren't you guys able to see my PowerPoint? Someone was asking, is anyone able to see the PowerPoint? Weren't you not seeing the PowerPoint? Okay. Okay, you can see it. Okay, so any questions in the chat? Oh, what is the minimum? Okay, so why do people always want to ask what's the minimum? No, with this account, you want to put the maximum, but I get it. I would say for kids under 18, a good number to start with is $100, right? Minimum $100 if you have a child under 18, but please, 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 and I know this is gonna go into like a whole education series, but you don't want to stay at $100 for your child forever, right? Start with whatever you can afford. $100 minimum is a good place to start if you have a minor kid.
So 100 meaning 100 a month for a year, so that would be like 1,200 a year, right?
Yeah, thank you. 1,200 a year, 100 a month. And again, maybe you do that for a 1 to 2 year, but don't stay at $100 forever, because your child's not gonna have a lot of money. And again, we don't know how old your child is and how many years for college. So these are all things we can run to see, okay, how much money does it need by 25, or how much money does it need by a certain age? And all of that could change numbers again. But again, we want people to be able to afford what they can. So yes, this is why you want to schedule a one-on-one, so we could run numbers based on your child needs. What are the fees for this account? Good. So let me ask you a question. What are the fees in traditional accounts? Good question. Really, really good. What are the fees in your IRA, 457, mutual funds, and those type of stuff? So let's compare. What do you think those fees are? Anybody?
I know. Like retirement accounts online, like Fidelity and stuff, they charge anywhere between 1.5% to 2% of the account value every year. But beyond that, there are also some hidden fees that they don't tell you about. So at the minimum, you are paying about 1.5 to 2% of your account value every year to the account management.
Right? So whether you make money or you lose money, are you still going to pay that fee? Whether you make or lose, are you still paying it, or are you only paying it when you're making money?
You pay it whether you make money or you lose money. If the market is down and your account is down, you still pay that 1 to 2%.
So how do you guys feel about paying a fee even when your money is losing? Are you winning the money game? Are we winning the money game?
I don't like it.
Right. Are we winning the money game?
But
Are we winning the money game if we're still paying this fee even when we're losing? Well, guess what? Over here, you ain't ever losing money, right? You ain't ever losing money. So number one, you already got a leg up. You ain't ever losing money, and there's no fees in a life insurance. This is a cash value life insurance. So the question should be, well, answering your question, with regards to life insurance, you're not paying fees, you're paying cost of insurance. You're paying cost of insurance because from day one, your child is covered with life insurance. From day one, that $100 that you put in covers your child for $100,000 life insurance, right? So the terminology is a little different. It's not fees per se, it's cost of insurance. So I would rather pay cost of insurance to have me insure for life than paying a fee even when I'm losing money and I still don't have $100,000 net worth, right? We're still gonna pay something. You wanna pay fees or you wanna pay cost of insurance? Because when you pay cost of insurance, you're gonna get that money one way or the other. Your family's gonna get that money one way or the other. But we can't say the same with your 529 because you're gonna pay fees even when the stock market go down, right? So again, fees versus cost of insurance. Cost of insurance, you're already covered from day one. Your net worth has already increased from day one. And whether you live or die, that money's gonna pay out. So I'm okay with paying cost of insurance. And the bigger the cost of insurance, the more coverage I have, right? So it's cost of insurance versus fees. And the cost of insurance is you being protected with life insurance for your entire life. And even when you die, you see there's a legacy that's still going to pay out to your kids and grandkids. Versus paying fees for something that's going to go up and down. Whether you make money or lose money, you're still paying for it. So one, you're definitely going to get it back.
I have a question. The numbers you displayed, are those numbers before any cost of insurance, or they are numbers after the cost of insurance?
It's already included.
So basically, there will not be any extra fees you are paying.
No, it's already
Whatever
included.
you see in the illustration is what is going to come out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
It's already included. Yes. All right, guys. So if there are no other questions, thank you guys so much. And like I said, thank you so much for Academy Charter for having us here again. We do these webinars to churches, schools. So if you belong to a school or you belong to a church or a nonprofit organization or some organization and you want us to, bring the same information or different information, maybe we could focus on retirement planning. Maybe we could focus on debt. Maybe we could focus on some other aspect. But typically what we see in our community needing is help with retirement, right? And also help with their kids and saving for their kids and also your retirement. And again, our office here in New York, we have seminars every month, and every month the topic is different, right? So if you want to learn more, I would say make sure you connect with us. Go to my website, odettaking.com. We'll see you guys on Saturday here in the office, and if not, schedule a one-on-one where we could speak to you specifically for your numbers and your needs. And Ms. Tappan, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Odetta. I am sure everyone who came on tonight learned something. So, as Odetta said, if you need any more information, go on website, schedule a one-on-one, and there's so much more to learn. We only got a little tiny piece of the entire thing. There's a lot more. We have webinars every week. So come on and learn more. There is so much information to learn. So thank you again to Ms. Denton, the PTO president, for giving us this opportunity. And I hope we can have it again soon. So because people need to get this information. So thank you. Ms. Denton, you want to say anything?